Okay, so after you bust a few of these bolts off, you're going to move on over here, and this is your coil pack, so I guess you could call it. Yeah, you got your plug wires coming into it as well. We should probably change those. I didn't think about that at first, but now that I'm in here, I'm looking at it, stuff like that kind of concerns me a little bit. I mean, that's a lot of wear and tear right there. So yeah, we'll probably be changing those out and doing a little thorough inspection over this whole engine bay before it's all said and done. Alright folks, and just like that, with a whole bunch of hardware later and a lot of disassembly, we got the intake manifold off. So now we can get back here and change these spark plugs and spark plug wires that may have never been changed. It's only got 127,000 miles, so who knows. But I wanted to show, as you pull stuff out, you want to, this may look like a mess, but this is exactly how the bolts are laid out on the intake manifold in the front, going from side to side. You've got your front and your rear, your 210 millimeters here for your fuel rail, I believe it was. These are for the throttle body. Bottom one, this goes in one side and the nut and that thing goes in the other. Same thing, the stud goes on one side and this goes on the other, and that holds your throttle body to it. But yeah, make sure when you pull all your hardware off that you keep track of it, label it, because if it comes off, it has to go back on. You have to put it back on. Okay, so it's kind of hard for me to get a camera back in here to actually see this, but I'll show you what I'm doing. So you always want to start with your longest lead first, and that for me would be this one. It runs up and runs down along here to right here. So I'm going to start with that one first. I'm going to run the whole thing. Don't pull all your wires off at the same time. If you do, and then you can't figure out which ones go where, this does matter. This is important. So make sure you take them off one at a time, route them back similar to how they're going. If you have a little extra room, you can kind of tidy it up a little bit, but just take your time. It's pretty easy. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. Oh yeah, the subscribe button down there, it's free. You might as well just hit it too while you're at it. It doesn't cost you a dime and it helps me out a lot. I appreciate it. Alright, so that was pretty neat. All that for, 3 plugs and 3 wires. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put this back on there, get it all back together, and do the front 3, which the front 3 are easy. They're all exposed. They're just sitting out here in the front, hanging out, just waiting to be changed. There's 3 in the back. If you have to change your plug wires, I recommend go ahead and do your plugs while you're in there. Also, run a shop vac down in through here. Make sure that there's no oil. There'll probably be a little bit of oil residue or some sort of residue on the gaskets up there. I believe that's okay. I don't think that's too much of a problem. All my plugs have been dry so far, so yeah, I'll show you those here once I get them all out. We'll compare all 6 of those plugs. I'm using these guys, double iridium, so they're not bad. I've been running these in other naturally aspirated cars that I have. They burn a little bit hotter, so I don't know, I feel like it helps ignite the fuel better, possibly getting you a little bit better gas mileage. I don't have any numbers to prove that, so before you rip me in the comments, that's just my theory, you know, just running off things that I see. And by the way, my green car, which has 353,000 miles on it, also gets about 40 to 43 to 45 miles per gallon on the highway, depending on how much I stay out of it. Typically I'm around anywhere between 32 and 38 mpg. So yeah, I don't know, little things like this go a long way. Alright folks, well that's that. And I'm pretty happy with that for the day. We ended up getting the intake manifold off, took the air intake off of it, was able to disassemble all of this stuff in the back here to get your throttle linkage, your ground cables, things like that unhooked from it, as well as vacuum hoses on this side, and a number of other things you have to remove to get that off, just to put those rear 3 spark plugs in there. The front ones, easy as cake, right out here in the front. So let's go check on those plugs. Alright, so here's our plugs. They're dry. They don't look half bad. Got a little bit of rust on them, so they've been in there quite some time. Both banks look about the same. Running a little bit lean. They got the white, I think that's what that means. Even that one, I thought it was dark on the inside, but it's still white on the ceramic there. As for the plug wires look fine. These had some rubbing on these wear spots here, but I mean, as for the ends, all the ends looked okay. Nothing really jumped out at me as like, oh, this is bad. None of these had oil on them. They were all dry. The tips are all dry, so tells me the engine's in good condition. The plugs and the wires definitely needed changed, as well as the coil pack over there. And the coil pack, it was fairly easy to install. Just a few bolts. I think it was 4 on it. There's 2 that are easy on the top and 2 on the bottom you can't really see. And as I installed all of the plugs, the wires, anything that I undid, all of these little wiring harnesses, all those wiring harnesses along the back, every time I put something new on there, I use dielectric grease. It just keeps the water out and helps prevent corrosion for a little bit longer. And also, let's So on the battery terminal here, these three are the wires from factory, so that's all original. I bought one of these little 2-post terminals, and I don't know if you can see, but the little center thing there, I basically just turned it upside down. So we're not using the actual wire, and I just bolted it straight through like it would have been on the factory terminal with that in the middle. And it worked out pretty well. The negative battery cable, I'm going to use this little top post mount. Now inside it, you can't really see it, but there is a hole for a single bolt to hold this in. Now if you look down here, let's see here, can we see that? Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but right there is the stock one, and it had a double bolt on it, which is hard to see from up here. Basically, it looked identical to that. So what I'll probably do is whenever I pull the old one off, I'll hold it up next to this, I'll figure out where the other hole is supposed to be, and just drill a second hole in it. Maybe we can reuse this without having to change the end, or maybe we'll just go to a single bolt. It doesn't really matter. But it is almost dinner time, and I am calling it a day. We've got a lot done on this car today. If you remember a couple weeks ago, we did the brakes, which they look terrible, but it just rained last night, so don't worry about that. But we did the front and rear brakes on this, did some brake lines. About a year ago, we did the master and slave cylinder for the clutch down there, and it's just time to do some plugs and wires this time. So yeah, we just redid the battery as well. It's set for a couple of years, and we wanted to just put a fresh battery in it to get it going. It's got a few electrical issues inside. It's got some ground issues. I think we need to track down a rusty ground up under the dash somewhere. But overall, this car's coming together, and it's looking pretty dang good. Yeah, we'll give the engine a good little wash down. I'm gonna hit it with some degreaser and some aluminum cleaner, and polish up the plastics and make everything just look a little bit nicer. Might even get the headlights done for them. They definitely could use a polish. Don't mind the front bumper. It's missing a little bit of clear coat, but the rest of the car looks fantastic. You know, it's just those plastic bumpers and these northern winters. But not bad for a car that spent 3 years in New York and the rest of its life in West Virginia. All right, folks, and it is the next day. We are going to take the battery out and replace this faulty cable. I don't know if it's faulty, but the screw is rusted in place, and it just doesn't look like it's in good shape anymore. The cord's a little bit squishy, usually indicates heat damage over time. So we just fixed this side up, so we're going to take this side off, we're going to take the battery out, and get down in there and replace that battery cable. Okay, that wasn't too terribly difficult. It was just really difficult to see. Here, I'll show you. So over here, you've got really bright morning light, and I was working right down in there. So what all we did there was I removed one bolt from a little bracket. I took the horn off just to get it out of the way, and there we go. Those two holes right there, boom boom. I had to pop the bolts up out of those to get that out. You can do it without removing the horn. It's just a lot easier if you can make some clearance to get some tools in there. So next up, I've got, it's slightly longer, but that'll be okay. Another ground cable. Here's the original one. It's got a little bit of corrosion in it. It's like 20 years old. I don't know, it's about 18 years old. The new one, a little bit thicker terminal here, but the other end is where the big difference is. Mine's got one hole, that's got two. So I'm gonna have to lay them down on top of each other and probably just drill a hole in that one. If I can't figure out where a hole goes, I'll just use one hole. It'll be fine. I really don't think it matters that much, as long as the ground connection is secure. A ground is a ground. It doesn't matter if it has one bolt in it or two. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to use this one with just one hole in it, but the problem is my bolt is much smaller than the hole, so it'll close it and it'll set up there, but to make it a little bit nicer of a fit, I got a big fat washer, so we're gonna stick that guy on there, and we'll stick that guy down in there, and we'll sink it down in the hole. That way it has a better coverage area. It's not going to want to slide around on a little tiny contact patch up top, because like I said, it is small enough that the head doesn't slip through it, but you don't want to trust that little tiny bit. So I'm just going to put a big old fat washer on here and not worry about it. Alright folks, well, that does it for the teardown and reassembly of the motor. Gotta get a few tools and stuff off of here, but we've got the battery hooked up, got all of the ignition stuff hooked up over there. Plugs, coils, wires, all those things. So yeah, let's go in there and give her a shot and see if she starts. Alright folks, so in real time we are going to start this thing up. Oh. Foot on the clutch, key in, let her prime, and hit it. Well, that sounds like a pretty healthy start if you ask me. So yeah, we've got some arrow lights here. I'm not sure why the battery is flashing like it does. ESC off is also concerning because yes, you can turn it off, but when I push the button, it does nothing. Also, here's a weird one. When you turn the lights on, all the lights turn off. But the headlights and everything comes on, so that's fine, that works. We've put a new switch in, that didn't change anything. Turn it back off, those come back on. At the same time, our radio no longer, oh, radio came back on, first time. Okay.
Well, it's too wide to the far.
Interesting. That has not worked for a couple of weeks now. So, maybe we're onto something here. Maybe I just need to fix a couple more grounds under the dash, and that might help clear this thing up. We'll see. I'll let it idle for a minute. Well, standing out here listening to it, there's a little squeak. I believe it's this pulley. I just feel like it's got a little shudder to it. Especially when you look at some other pulleys, they don't jump around and move at all. This one's got a little shudder, so maybe the bearing's going out in the center of that. Have to look into that. But overall, it's a good little car, and we're gonna keep it going for a lot longer. It's got a lot of life left in it. Yeah, we just need a little polish up on the headlights there, kind of help them see at night, and the thing runs and drives great. We need to work on the dash lights and figure out why that's not wanting to work correctly, especially for him. He works after dark, so he's always traveling at nighttime. With winter coming up, we need to make sure everything's safe. But under the hood looks good. I'm gonna get that pulley looked at this week, and might do an easy video on that, but it should be pretty easy. Just sticky an impact down here on the edge and get that bad boy up and out of there. Probably don't even need an impact, but impact the world. Alright guys, until next time, this is the Cheaper Guy. Peace.